Hello everybody, David Clues here from UNN, just doing another video as promised on the ongoing situation, which is clearly escalating as we have thought so for a very long time. I'm speaking about Palantir and AI. And again, I think it's important to just go back to when things really did start to move into another gear, which was a few weeks ago when revelations first appeared around Keir Starmer, the role of Morgan McSweeney, who is his supposed number two, but many say the number one in terms of running the political side of the country. And then was the announcement for digital ID, and obviously the situation that has been developing today as well. We're just going on the BBC, 2 dead in Manchester synagogue attack, with suspects shot dead by the police. SAS helicopters have been spotted flying overhead, 2 further men being led away in handcuffs. And clearly there is a lot of, in days like this as well, there's a lot of emotion on all sides. There's a lot of angles will be pushed, a lot of rhetoric as well. This individual apparently had a supposed, well, he says a fake suicide belt, but that's not been confirmed yet. Some people saying that the person looks like a Muslim with a beard as well. As I said, I'm not going to speculate too much on this situation today, but this was the moment the attacker was apparently shot as well. Because as I said, there is, in days like this, there's a lot. But Keir Starmer has flown back to the
I'm on my way
UK.
back to London. When I arrive, I will chair an emergency COBRA meeting. I'm already able to say that additional police assets are being deployed to synagogues across the country, and we will do everything to keep our Jewish community safe. I've spoken to Mark Gardner of the CST and Andy Burnham, Mayor of Manchester, and I want to thank the emergency services for the speed of their response.
And I was just doing a bit of research beforehand after the Southport attack when 3 girls were brutally murdered. There was no COBRA meeting took place after the Southport attack. However, 2 COBRA meetings then took place in the subsequent weeks due to the disorder that then played out. So where is the sort of the panic coming from within the Starmer team? Why this agitation? Well, this story hasn't really been given a lot of attention. And what's interesting is a lot of people on what you would perhaps term in simplistic ways the right, they've not got involved in it either. Because I think there's a thing, the reason they don't want to get involved with it because of some of the funding that's there. But really, this should be enough to have brought Starmer down, to have brought his entire government down, and exposing the murky world of funding that takes place within the Labour Party, but it also exists, of course, within all political parties. They're all shameless when it comes to where they source money. That includes Reform, it includes the Tories, the Lib Dems, all of them. But 740k was donated to Morgan McSweeney's Labour Together outfit. Now, Morgan McSweeney is an Irish citizen, intimately involved with the Labour Party, bared his teeth and made his name back in the sort of Battle of Barking days against the British National Party when he worked for Margaret Hodge. McSweeney hid donations from the likes of Trevor Chin. Chin was a director of Labour Together and supports both Conservative and Labour Friends of Israel. And a lot of different businesses involved with it, a lot of different people. Dan Norris, who is the Labour MP, Trevor Chin and Mendelsohn funded this individual as well. And as I said, there's a lot of dark money going on. There's a lot of money that was unknown, that was pumped in. Gary Lubner, he's another one who's a huge donor too. That was the Labour Together campaign. And then also Labour currently, he runs Autoglass, born in South Africa. He's donated over £6 million to Labour since. But all this money was then pumped in to then fund Morgan McSweeney, to fund Starmer's campaign to oust Jeremy Corbyn.
you may never have heard of. A man by the name of Morgan McSweeney, the Chief of Staff to the Prime
Double-down
Minister
news.
of the United Kingdom, Sir Keir Starmer, arguably the most important and the most powerful person.
See, again, this is what we need to do at UNN. People just know the front faces. We need to look at the producers. We need to look at the people behind the scenes. We need to follow the money, so to speak, because that's where the answers will always be.
In British politics. In fact, without Morgan McSweeney, there simply is no Keir Starmer. And this is the story of how he got that power and how we used a secret, unlawful fund of over £700,000 to seize that power. This web of secrecy and these backroom deals should terrify anybody who cares about British democracy. About 4 years ago, in 2021, I got access to a phenomenal leak of documents out of the Labour Party. That sparked my investigation into Morgan McSweeney and the Labour Party, an incredible story of the reckless and arguably lawless project that has delivered us this particular Keir Starmer government. Between 2017 and 2020, Morgan McSweeney ran an undisclosed secret project to destroy the Labour Party under Jeremy Corbyn. He did so with a pot of money, £730,000, he wasn't declaring as required by law to the Electoral Commission.
See, again, and this is what we need to try and, I think, move on from this left, right, well, it's Labour, blah, 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 because clearly money, power, the factions involved, they don't care. They just want to have the influence. And as many of you will know, I'm not a big fan of Jeremy Corbyn. I don't agree with his politics, but there was clearly an establishment effort to oust Jeremy Corbyn as well. And it should concern anyone. If they still believe in democracy and they still believe in the institutions, I personally have had a bit of a conversion on that. I don't believe in them very much. I think the whole thing's corrupt. But just get over this. 730,000 in politics, none of it declared to the Electoral Commission. They should immediately see Starmer resigning, should see Morgan McSweeney likely go to prison. Will it happen?
While he was running the secret project, he wrote to the Electoral Commission and spoke to them over the phone and said, I don't want to report donations. And the Electoral Commission said, I'm sorry, you have to report donations. And in February 2020, Shabana Mahmood, who's currently the Home Secretary, said on Labour Together's behalf, yes, we are reporting donations. Labour Together was a seemingly anodyne think tank that Morgan McSweeney ran for a number of years. Labour Together really came into play after Corbyn's Labour Party exceeded all expectations in the general election of 2017. But for people like Morgan McSweeney, this wasn't something to be celebrated. This was a threat. See, Morgan McSweeney is from the right wing of the Labour Party, and Jeremy Corbyn's success was a threat to his own personal political ambitions and to his vision for the Labour Party. For a period of 3 years, Morgan McSweeney used Labour Together to undertake secret projects to destroy the Labour Party under Jeremy Corbyn.
So again, I won't go on that too much. If you want to watch this Double Down News, it's excellent. I'll put the link in the description as well. But the most powerful individual in Britain, Peter Oborne on Morgan McSweeney. Peter Oborne's exclusive reports Keir Starmer's chief strategist is driving a Labour government towards defeat, he says, by the far right. Well, again, that's very, very debatable. As I say, I don't get involved with these people and their labels that they have. Peter Oborne does some not too bad work, but Morgan McSweeney represents institutional power. Morgan McSweeney represents what he can do and how they can bring money in, not declare it, and face no consequences. And that really is the question that people need to ask more of. How do these people keep getting away with this? It happens everywhere. I mean, look, it happened during Brexit on both sides, Remain and Leave. It happens for Labour, it happens for Tory. It is this dark money that funds everything. And clearly, if you're getting checks for 730,000, there's going to be things people are looking for. So just again, to kind of draw things to a bit of a close, you had the Starmer situation with Morgan McSweeney revealed, £730,000. Dark money, didn't go to the Electoral Commission. It was working out with all parameters of what is acceptable. They then launched digital IDs. You've now got the stabbing incident today as well in Manchester, with Starmer flying back, chairing COBRA meetings. And then you've still got this third man charged over fires at homes linked to PM that they incredibly managed to push the trial out a year away. A year. Remember during the disorder last summer, people were getting tried the very same day. Yet these guys firebomb, petrol bomb attack things belonging to the prime minister of this country, and it takes a year to get it through the court system. So, yeah, we need to keep exposing the dark money. We need to keep exposing supranational individuals, supranational bodies and companies like Palantir as well. And again, innocent people will get caught up in this and the sickening games that these elites play. I do hope that people found this video informative. As ever, if you value the work that we do at UNN, please click the link below. If you haven't already, like and subscribe. We will be live from next week. I hope you can join me then. Thank you very much for tuning in. Speak to you later. Bye-bye.